Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khair for tuning in to another episode of Maximized Ridwanullah Show. I'm your host and coach Hussein Muhammad, working to help you maximize the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only in this life, but also in the hereafter. And as the somewhat of the first official Maximize Ridwanullah show, inshallah, this one is not going to be similar to the Raw, which is more of a blog. This one's going to be a little bit more than, 15, 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what type of content that we will be delivering to you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, on a weekly basis. And I've been thinking about this for a very long time on, how I'm going to deliver the content. What type of content, what will be helpful, somewhat of an improvised studio, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. You can see, some of the books that, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, that I either have read, try to read, or will read in the near future, alhamdulillah. Majority of these are not just for props. I've actually read majority of them, if not all of them, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. And obviously, this one, everybody is well aware of that, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. The kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be amongst those who read it on a daily basis, use it on a daily basis, and teach and preach with patience on a daily basis. And I'm not sure if you can see, this one is called A Coach's Guide to Developing Exemplary Leaders. That's something that when I started my coaching business a couple of years ago, I was able to land a couple of clients and students through a lot of the things that I've learned from that book, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. It kind of lays out the processes and procedures of how to properly coach somebody. And that's one of my passions, is coaching. I just love the transformation and the motivation that people get from the coaching that I provide, that everybody else either gets or provides, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. And in today's episode, there's going to be a chosen topic that we will, dive a little deeper in, where the show is a longer format with a theme and everything else. And then when it comes to the Raw, that's just kind of like a video blog throughout the week, here and there, whatever insights and motivations and breakthroughs that I get throughout the week that I'll be sharing with you. But the Ridwanullah Raw is going to be delivered, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows, on every Sunday. And I try to figure out which day is best to deliver content. And the reason why I chose Sunday is because this is at least in North America, the last day of the week. And I'm pretty sure in Islamic countries, it starts off in a different day. Every country is different. I'm not really sure what it is. I grew up in America for the most part, so that's the system that I was using for the most part. Until recently, about a couple of weeks, probably a year or so, not more than that, I explored with the different start day of the week, and then I kind of put myself in a blender where everything was kind of chaotic, but I came back to the system that I'm used to, which is having Monday be the first day of the work week. Until I'm able to live in an environment or a different situation that will allow me to use that particular system that we should be using. And I've actually spoken to Imam Dr. Ziyad about which day is the first day of the Islamic week. And then when I looked intuitively, I was like, Yawmul Ahad, Sunday, is the first day of the week, which is, first day basically in Arabic. And then, as I did research, I found out that when I talked to Imam Dr. Ziyad, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him, he explained to me that Saturday is the official first day of the week in the Islamic calendar. And some of them are, some of the opinions is basically that it's Friday because it's the best day of the week. So that's when the first day of the week should be. But it's outweighed majorly by uh, Saturday, with Saturday being the first day of the week. So all of that to explain, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, that I chose Sunday because, this is the day where most people are getting ready for the work week, which is Monday for most of us, depending on when your work week is or work week starts. And, a lot of us go into the work week without the right mentality, including myself. And throughout the whole work week, what I've noticed is I started to develop some sort of stress and anxiety before Monday, on Sunday, particularly between Dhuhr and Asr, because that is when I feel like, the day is wrapping up and I really have to surrender into getting back into the work week. Working a 9 to 5 job, most of us to a certain degree do not love our jobs. You can certainly find things to love about your job and certainly find a lot of things not to love about your job. But, it is what it is. As I'm starting to get into developing my own career, my own finances and jobs, businesses and investments for whatever minimal level that I'm on right now, majority of my income right now is coming from a job. What I'm doing right now is my passion, my purpose and dreams that I hope inshallah one day will turn into a full-time career with the coaching, the training, the speaking, so forth and so on. So, that's kind of what I'm developing into. That's kind of what I'm working towards. And I'm not trying to follow the get rich quick schemes, the gimmicky schemes where, people have taglines that are mainly clickbait. Some of them are true. Some of them are clickbaits, and they try to build their personal brands, as well as their personal brand, their professional brands, in terms of putting up a front. Right now, I'll be quite honest with you. I'm actually doing this particular TV show out of my house. I had a studio, I had a business that I closed down roughly about a year ago. And I was doing majority of the content of what I started off with in that office. But as of right now, I've kind of closed down that business and kind of started to focus on what I truly want, what I'm truly after, which is, the Maximize Ridwanullah International, which is, a transformation company that trains and develops individuals to transform every single area of their life by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to the Quran and Sunnah, as much as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants me by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is, a quick summary of the whole process and what this will be about, especially with the Maximize Ridwanullah show and the Maximize Ridwanullah Raw. And I hope you guys will distinctify the difference between the two, where Maximize Ridwanullah show is a longer format of the content that we're doing. And inshallah, I'll be exploring with various topics where I'll be answering questions. I'll be doing interviews. I'll be doing reviews. Try to see if I could actually even do it live, where individuals can call in directly and get some of their burning questions answered by me and by the guests that will be showing up in this show, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, so they can let you know what they're up to, whether that's a project, a fundraiser, support, brand awareness, marketing, sales, Islamically, secularly, whatever it may be. We're going to be focused on the Quran and Sunnah on this show, but inshallah we'll give light to all aspects of life, because they are a part of our deen. They are a part of life, therefore a part of our deen by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With all that being said, I would love to encourage you guys to engage in the content, to press the like button, to to comment on the link below, to share it with your family and friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, as well as the other developing channels. But mainly we're going to stick to YouTube for now to host our content. And we're going to look to expand to other areas. Inshallah, hopefully we'll be able to do a podcast out of this show, and also give people who love to read articles within this particular show to be able to read through and look through and develop from there, trying to plug the different content and formats that we could deliver to you by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And hopefully we can inspire and motivate you. If you have time, you could sit and watch the actual episode. If you do not have time, as I do a lot of the times, I do podcasts, MP3s, I download and kind of mesh up different forms of motivation to get me throughout my day, to get my mindset right, to get my deen right in every aspect of my life by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you could do the same thing as well. And sometimes, what you see is not what you believe, and what you hear might not be what you believe, but definitely what you read could be of a lot of value, especially when you can go back to it instead of having to rewind and so forth. You can just kind of go down the list and look at that and read by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So hopefully as I develop and grow, my talents, my knowledge, my skills and strengths, as I hope to do with you by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the content that I'm delivering, and your constructive feedback, I'll be able to provide valuable content to help you maximize the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every area of your life, inshallah. So with all that being said, that is the introduction. I'm as you can tell, I'm very, very excited, very, very pumped up to be able to start this beautiful journey on maximizing the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life and in the hereafter for myself, my loved one, the ummah in the entire world, whoever is willing to listen, inshallah. So today's topic, right? Getting to today's topic, there's a lot of things that I was thinking about. There's a lot of things that I was going through. There's a lot of imperfect perfections. You go through daily life and, majority of us have these big goals and big dreams. And we think about how to start, how to begin, where to begin, what to begin, and what to start, I should say. Where to start, how to start. And, a lot of us, we start to overthink things, and we start to figure out a way. We overanalyze the overanalyzation, basically get stuck in the planning and preparation phase. And we're so afraid of taking action that actually produces the results that we're after. And if you're not taking the action, you will never get the result, right? You could, dream up this beautiful empire and figure out these amazing ideas and write down, as I always do, grab my pen and paper and my notebook and start writing my planners, my calendars, my schedules, and all of them are right here, by the way. And you kind of get stuck in your head. You never get in your gut and start taking action. And that is what I'm going to encourage you to do in this particular show, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to start before you're ready. That's the message, and that's the topic, and that's the theme for today's show. Start before you're ready. What are you waiting for, right? Whose permission are you waiting for? Who do you want to pat on your back to start doing, to start living your passion, purpose, and dreams for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Who are you waiting for to tell you start the TV show, start writing your book, start speaking, start lifting weights, start eating right, start getting your relationships in order, whether it's the forgiveness part or the reconciliation part? Who are you waiting for to tell you to treat your wife better? Who are you waiting for to tell you to take care of your children better? Who are you waiting for to tell you to treat your parents better? Who are you waiting for to contact your siblings, connect with them? Who are you waiting for to treat your aunts, uncles, and cousins better? You know, and I'm not here from a point of you should look at what I'm doing and follow what I'm doing. I'm going through a lot of my pains and problems and my challenges, right? And I figured the difference between, speaking the truth, forgiving people, and reconciliation. Those are very different things. The first step is speaking the truth, right? And a lot of individuals will get extreme pain from that. And there's a lot of thoughts in my head that I'm trying to filter through right now. But, people will get butthurt. Let's just be honest. And, you could be wrong. They could be wrong. You could be right. They could be right. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows in those circumstances. And, you tend to, after speaking the truth, there's a lot of pain. And from there, the next step would be to forgive, right? And forgiving will relieve you, not the other person, because you're the one who's holding these grudges inside of you. Now, the third and final step is reconciliation. That is when the behavior is corrected and you're able to move forward from the painful problems and challenges that are most likely sins and transgressions against the rules, regulation, the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to keep all of those elements in mind. Who are you waiting for? Who are you waiting for to tell you start that business? Who are you waiting for to tell you to start that budget? Get your finances in order. Who are you waiting for to elevate your career? Who are you waiting for to do a better job in your job, right? At your work, whatever 9 to 5, multiple jobs that you have. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with one of my friends. He's very, very inspirational to me. He recently got married, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, holding down 3 to 4 jobs, trying to make ends meet. And that's something that I have to do looking forward into my life based on the financial needs that I'm currently facing. Even though there's a lot of limiting beliefs that I was going through. And who are you waiting for to start that business? Or maybe you're doing it out of order. Who are you waiting for to tell you how to put it in order? Nobody. You have to be the one who starts before they think they are ready. Who are you waiting for to tell you need to start investing in different businesses and different means of investments to get passive income, whatever it may be? Who are you waiting for to tell you that? There's a lot of things that we really have to think about, a lot of things that we really have to analyze and put in perspective. And going back to the most important element of life, which is yourself. And there are 3 elements within the self. Number 1 is your deen, your creed, your belief system, and your mind. That's all one topic. That is the most important element of the individual. That is the most important part of you, of yourself. And the second part is the body, right? The health and fitness. Who are you waiting for to tell you to start eating properly? Who are you waiting for to tell you to stop overeating every single day, particularly at night? Which I do, by the way, and I'm starting to bi'idhnillahi ta'ala drive away from that. Sidetrack comment where I was looking, I was very, very interested in the connection between the gut, actually the mind and the gut, right? The gut is basically the stomach and all of the internal processes within the stomach. And one thing that I realized is that the amount of food or the type of food you eat and when you eat them has a very, 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 very big impact on your mind. And your mind is the central unit of everything of your life, right? That is the internal process. And your gut is a part of those internal processes, what I like to call the internal game. So who are you waiting for to start elevating your deen, start elevating your manners? Who are you waiting for to start elevating your mind, getting your mindset right? Basically, the focus that you have, the thoughts and questions that you have, the ideas and the belief system that you carry, the emotions that you feel, basically the decisions that you make. Those are the 5 elements of the mind within that. And then the gut is connected to that. And the mind travels between the brain and the heart, right? The mind is abstract if you really look into that. And I don't want to get into the philosophical and the Islamic perspective of the mind, but generally you need, one thing to understand of the mind is, even though majority of us point to the brain, the mind does not reside in the brain. The mind is mainly processed in the brain, but origination of the mind is in the heart. Your thinking, all of us think we think in the mind, and which is the mind, right? But in the brain, but in reality, we think with our hearts. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that in the Quran. I just can't remember the exact verse right now in the exact surah and the exact ayah. But inshallah, if I'm able to, I'll try to figure that out. But I'm pretty sure a majority of you who are listening, who have memorized the Quran or are familiar with the Quran, will have that idea come up and will know that we think with our minds. Who are you waiting for to tell you to start developing your mind? Who are you waiting for? Right? We really have to think about these things and our bodies. And the last element of ourself is our belongings, right? What you see right now is as organized as you could be, but everything outside of the screen is a complete mess. Let me tell you. And as I'm developing, I've realized that, it's attached to the mind, the heart, and the body, the internal game, right? The more rana, the more dots, the more evil, the more sin you have attached to your internal game, the more you are attached to the outside world, the materialistic world, right? And, this might be a topic of discussion and a topic that might be a sensitive point for most people, but I'm not any different. I'm the one who's actually trying to minimize a lot of the junk that I'm buying, and a lot of the junk that I have, and a lot of the junks that I need to get rid of. But if you are a hoarder, someone who is materialistic, who has so much stuff, then it's very, very important for you to get rid of that ASAP, right? And it's something for us to ponder. A lot of are we neat individuals, meaning are we clean and organized? Internally and externally, starting with our body, starting with our internal self, and then the external self, right? Are we organized? Are we clean? Are we neat? Do we have certain things that we use to be able to, not waste any time? Because that is the most important aspect of life, is the amount of time that you have. And, I really, really appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch the Maximize Ridwanullah show. Because I know how valuable my time is, and I know how valuable your time is. And you could be anywhere in the world right now watching this video, and hopefully that you can take benefit from that. You make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for me, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to benefit from our knowledge, and allow us to benefit from that benefit of that knowledge, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So who are you waiting for? Who are you waiting for to tell you to get started to live your passion, your purpose, and your dreams? It's something that is very, very critical to understand, that you need to start before you are ready, no matter what it is, right? And inshallah, what I will get into is why it's important for you to start. Why is it important for you to start right now? You answer these questions for yourself. And the second question that I have for you is, how can you start? Right? How? That is the thing that I've been stuck on for many, many years, with so many ideas of business ideas, product ideas, marketing ideas, deen ideas, different goals, different ambitions, worship ideas, learning ideas, you name it. I had all the ideas in the world. So how can you get started? Hopefully I'll give you some pointers, inshallah, as you will already ponder these questions yourself, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And the last but not least is, what will you achieve from starting before you are ready? And in each point, there's a lot of things to say, but I will boil it down to three main elements for you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and for myself, that why it's important to start with before you are ready, and why it's important and how you can start before you are ready, and what you will achieve when you start before you are ready, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So I'm letting you know the outline of the messages in the show that I'll be doing, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And, the outline is something that I'll be playing around with as well to see what works best. As of right now, why, how, what is what I'll be delivering on a particular topic. Generally, the way I started is what, why, and how, right? What are you after? Why are you after it? And how are you going to get what you're after? After listening to Simon Sinek, I believe's famous TED Talk, he introduced what was called the golden circle, which is basically, he says, majority of the most powerful organizations, most powerful companies, they don't start with what they have. They don't start with how they're going to deliver it. They start with why they're doing it, so they could touch the different strings within your hearts so you can connect to that. And that is done through personal stories. And the next thing they tell you is how you can get access to why they have. And then last but not least, they let you know what they're delivering. And I believe one of the things that he used is the Apple company, where, majority of them, they don't start with what they have. They don't say, we have this beautiful product, come, get this, and this is why we're doing it. They say, we are individuals who think differently, and therefore we do innovative products and services, and therefore, we have an iPhone. Would you like to buy? And you're like, yes. Well, by the way, I'm an Android dude, so I've been thinking about switching to Apple for a very, very long time. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not, but I will definitely experiment with it and see what will work. But getting back to the frame, why is it important to as I explore between the two, whenever I give speeches or khutbah, or communicate in a training or a coaching session, I like to have a specific strategic system that I use for everything that I do. So for example, whenever I'm doing this show, I have a 15-step process that I go through step by step to deliver these contents, to deliver all these elements. So with that being said, we will dive into the topic of the day, as I've been touching on it for all of today. So is start before you are ready. No matter what you're doing, what you're after, start before you are ready. And for me, a lot of these things that I'm doing, I've overthought it enough. I've looked at, I've overplanned, I've overprepared, and I've realized, you really, really just have to step out of your mind and step into your gut and just take action. You'll never feel ready. You'll never, take this from me and everybody else who's in the motivational industry that are doing anything to uplift and empower individuals. They will tell you, you will never feel ready. You'll never feel motivated to do anything. So that's one of the first reasons why you should just go out there and start before you're ready, right? If you're never going to feel ready, so when are you going to wait until you die? Just jump into it. Do what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it. With all due respect, within the boundaries, rules and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's very, very important to focus on that and understand that you will never feel perfectly ready to do anything. If I waited until I perfectly felt ready to do the show today, I would have never done it. For many years, I've been dreaming about this show. For many years, I've been dreaming about this podcast. I've been dreaming about, these articles, and I've never felt worthy to do it. That's one of the reasons why because there's so many things that I do wrong on a daily basis against my creator, myself, and others, that I feel guilty for even wanting these things. I feel guilty for, wanting to be bigger than what I'm doing right now. the 1-2 step, doing the same old mediocre stuff that will not leave a legacy. I've never felt, that's why I've like, what? If I'm never going to feel ready, I might as well just start before I'm ready. And there's a lot of stories that I will get into, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, in different episodes that you can see and derive that I've always started for the most part, or at least started to most recently, to start before I'm ready. And the other thing is, the other reason why it's so important to start before you are ready is, if you're never going to feel ready, once you start, you'll start to develop. You'll start to gain a lot of confidence. You'll start to gain a lot of competence. And those are two different things. Confidence is, I can do it, right? Confidence, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly. Confidence is, I can do this, right? Everybody can say I can do it. But competence, can you really do that? Can you really carry out the steps within that process to achieve those results and that purpose that you carry? So if you get started before you are ready, you will start to develop a level of confidence and competence. And for me, doing this show is a testament to that fact, that I've never felt, alhamdulillah, astaghfirullah, atubu ilayk. I've never felt, I was about to say excuse me, so excuse me, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. I've never felt confident and competent to do the things that I'm doing right now and the things that I'm planning and preparing to do in the near future and for the rest of my life, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what I found out is, the more I push myself to do these things, the more confidence and competence I get from delivering these videos. And I get a lot of support and love from all over the world. And some of the things that I do right now, there's plenty of haters, there's plenty of lovers, and cut it out, bro. I'm doing the show right here.
I have to hit you twice.
Okay. Let's save that for later. Let me get this done, inshallah. I'm in trouble right now, so I really have to wrap this up, inshallah, so I can get downstairs and take care of a few things. So, once you get started, you'll get confidence and competence. I'll try not to do it fast, but expedited. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible without rushing through it. So you'll get confidence and competence. That's the main reason why you want to start early. The other reason is you'll start to gain traction and progress. Right, a lot of us are like a rat race in a rat wheel. Right, we're overworking and overworking, hustling day and night, not producing any results, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. But for the most part, I've started to gain some sort of traction. I'm starting to hopefully impact people's lives, my life, my family, my loved ones. For those who are willing to listen, and those who are not willing to listen, it's just not their time. And, I some individuals, wallahi, like, some of the messages that they send me because of these, because of the Maximize Ridwanullah show and Raw, they tell me, I really appreciate what you're doing. And that motivates me, and I don't want to be praised more than it's due. All praise and thanks are always forever are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, as I remember it, that there's no gratitude to the Creator without gratitude to the creation. So we really have to be grateful to the creation, so we could truly be grateful to the Creator by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if I'm showing any of you guys ingratitude, it is not intentional. It is either for a specific reason or plainly out of ignorance. So please forgive me. But what I wanted to do is show love and thanks to those individuals who are supporting this channel, who are supporting this work, who are reaching out to me. I believe a couple of the brothers reached out to me from Minnesota. Most recently, someone who actually has another TV show. And I get, collaboration opportunities and so forth and so on. And I couldn't have had all of these opening doors, as little as it is, without starting before I was ready, or starting before I felt like I was ready. And I still, up to this point, do not feel ready, but I feel more ready, more confident, more competent as I take action. So, you'll start to get traction and progress, and you'll start to actually start achieving your goals and dreams because you'll take more action by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's very, very important to do, inshallah. So keep that in mind, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And the last two things is, how can you start before you are ready, right? And I have a smart answer, but I'll say, just start, right? That's like the simple answer. But I'll tell you the reason why you're not starting, so you could figure out how to start. Number one is to dodge dogma. It's a full word, dodge, and just meaning like move out of the way of, or maneuver around, things like that. Dogma just means other people's thinking, other people's goals and dreams and ambitions, and other people's expectations of you. All of these things are a part of dogma. And Steve Jobs' commencement speech, I believe in Stanford, opened my eyes to dogma, where he said, do not live under the thinking of other people. Do your own thing, move, get out of, just, don't expect other people to approve your work. Don't expect other people to tell you you're doing a good job. Don't expect other people to tell you, that's a great idea, do it. Majority of the stuff that I'm doing right now, people are telling me do not do it, right? People are giving me many reasons on why I shouldn't do it, so forth and so on. So it's going to be very, very important for us to continue to progress and to dodge dogma. You know what I mean? Don't wait for people's approval. Don't wait for people's constructive feedback all the time, right? Sometimes it's okay. Most of the time it's okay. But all the time, if you're waiting for people's approval, you're in the wrong lane. And I've been in that lane for years, and I'm still there for some reason, but I'm still struggling to dodge dogma. The second thing is plan and prepare sufficiently, right? Just because I'm saying start before you're ready does not mean you don't plan and prepare. Like what I'm doing right now with this show, I've planned and prepared an outline and an agenda. So plan and prepare as much as you can, but don't get stuck there, right? Those who fail to plan are planning to fail. A famous quote, right? If you're not planning and preparing, you're planning and preparing to fail, as we are doing every single day of our lives. So it's going to be very, very important for us to plan and prepare sufficiently, and don't overdo it. Don't get stuck in an analysis paralysis by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Last but not least is the most simple one, but the hardest one for all of us to do, which is take action. Just start. Take the first step, right? A journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, right? Or however that is said. A journey of 1,000 steps, or a journey of 1,000 miles, are started with the first step. So take the first step. Go. Start. Go. Just do it. Don't wait for people to tell you you're doing the right thing. Don't wait to feel comfortable. Don't wait to feel motivated. Don't wait to feel inspired. Transformation doesn't happen in any of them. They just kind of get you pumped up and started. What gets you going is taking the first step with Bismillah. Taking the first step with Bismillah. Say Bismillah and just take the first step. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And correct your intentions, right? Make sure you have the correct intentions and utmost sincerity in everything that you do. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not reward the individual without the right intention or the right sincerity. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant me that as well as you, and make dua for me as I'll make dua for you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So just take action. The other mantra that I like to use is, get out of your head and get into your gut. If you overanalyze and overthink everything, you're going to be trapped in your head. Get out of your head and get into your gut. Meaning just take action. Do what feels right. Do what you think is right. Within the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Never forget that. Don't think I'm telling you to just do what you feel like is right. No, according to the Quran and the Sunnah, according to the boundaries, rules, and regulations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to the footsteps of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, take the right steps. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So that is how you do it, right? So take advantage of those things. So once you get started before you are ready, once you start before you are ready, what will you get? There are three main important things that you need to be aware of. Number one, you start to get more courage. You start to, you'll start to get out of your head more and get into your gut more. And when you do that, you're courageous. And I lack that a lot. I'm still developing and growing that. There's a lot of incidents at work and outside of work that has been happening lately. Obviously, nobody needs to explain the global climate of the racial tension, the religious tension, and everything that is happening across the globe. Nobody needs to explain that. But one thing is, a lot of the things that are not happening is because too many people are afraid to speak the truth. Too many people are afraid to stand up and speak the truth. And obviously you have to do it with, hukm and hikmah, right judgment and wisdom, according to the Quran and Sunnah for us as Muslims. But at the end of the day, we have to have individuals that speak up, speak the truth, and stand up for justice. As our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in the beautiful khutbah, as well as through the Quran in the beautiful khutbah that khutbah wisdoms that Imam Dr. Ziyad delivered at Masjid al-Huda in Salt Lake City, Utah this Friday, alhamdulillah. We have to stand up for justice. So, you'll start to gain courage. You'll start to live life according to your own terms by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second point is, obviously, as I mentioned, you'll start to become more confident and competent. You'll start to feel like you can do a lot of things. You'll start to actually know how to do a lot of the things because you've already been through the process. And that is what competence is mainly in the process. Confidence is believing, right? Believing you could do it. Confidence is believing you can do it. Competence is knowing the process of how to do it. So you really have to develop these different realms and these different elements. And starting before you're ready by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely allow you to achieve that level of confidence and competence that you need to achieve any goals and dreams that you have. And last but not least, one of the most amazing benefits of starting before you are ready is you'll start to achieve more. You'll start to achieve your goals, your results, goals and dreams. You'll start to achieve your objectives on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a yearly basis, and on a 3 to 6 3-year basis, on a stage level basis, whether you're a youth, a maturity, old age, decrepitude, child, whatever level you're on, you'll start to achieve more within that stage. And furthermore, you'll start to achieve, in your lifetime. And most importantly, you'll start to achieve in the akhirah by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions those who fear standing in front of their Lord and restrain their desires, they are the ones who will achieve paradise by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's also important to keep that in mind. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put barakah. You will start to see so many things that are start developing. There's a lot of painful problems and challenges that I'm dealing with on a daily basis that I'm trying to overcome, become a better human being as I'm going through. There's a lot of things in my life right now that I'm not proud of. I'll be honest and straightforward with you. A lot of the things that I'm not proud of, right? And a lot of the things by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm very, very proud of. And I can name a lot of the things. But I remembered I really have to get downstairs soon, inshallah. But one thing I realized is if I don't get started, if I don't keep growing, if I don't do the things and go through the trial and error, as painful as it may be for myself and my loved ones and the entire ummah in the world, I'll never grow through it. I can just go through it and just go through the pain. And I know I've hurt a lot of people. So I'll take the opportunity right now to say my intention is not to hurt you ever. My intention is to remove the disease from the patient so we can elevate each other. And similarly with me, so we can elevate each other, right? And, I understand that you take it personally initially. I understand that whenever I speak the truth, it'll hurt really bad. Even it hurts for me, right? And when someone speaks the truth to me, it really hurts me as well. But throughout that pain, let's distinctify the patient from the disease, right? I will always hate the disease, but I will always love the patient. So know that I love you, but I cannot tolerate a lot of the things that that is being done. And the things that I'm doing, I'm trying to do the best that I can as well. But once we overcome that, we will, inshallah, move forward. A lot of toxic relationships, one way or in both ways, right? Toxic relationship is not a one way. And sometimes it can be a one way, and you need to figure out how to deal with that. And if you're delivering that toxins back, you need to figure out how to maneuver through that and spread love instead of hate, spread humility instead of ego, spread gratefulness instead of ingratitude. First and foremost to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, secondly to ourselves, and thirdly to others, and most importantly within the others, our parents. They are above all of the creation that we should accept, obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messenger and whoever else Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has designated to be above whoever, and it is the job and the right and the privilege and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's duties and responsibilities that we should never get into. But for the most part, what I'm trying to highlight is the importance of our parents. As our brother Abdurrahman, one of the youth, mentioned in one of the previous videos. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch one of the videos, and share and subscribe to the YouTube channel that we have, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So that is the topic of today. Start before you are ready. And to summarize, we've learned throughout all of these things why it's important. Number one is you will never feel ready, so you might as well just go. Second thing is you will start to build confidence and competence to start before you are ready. And the third reason why it's important to start before you are ready is you'll start to gain traction as you get going. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. How we went over how you can get ready. And the first thing is to dodge dogma, and that's just how what other people think and expect of you in one way or another. And the second thing and how you could start before you are ready is to plan and prepare sufficiently and don't overdo that. And the third way you can start before you are ready is to start just taking action. Get out of your head and get into your gut. And once you start doing that, what are the benefits that you will get? What will you get? There are three things. First one is courage. You'll start to develop courage by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second thing is you'll start to develop confidence and competence by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the belief and the process of knowing how to do it. And last but not least, you will start to achieve more. A lot of doors will start opening for you. Things that you've never seen and never imagined in your life, you'll start to believe in. You'll start to know how to go through it. And you'll start to achieve more. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you with that. And I've been thinking about developing an online university, developing courses and products and seminars and things like that. So I want to know what you guys think also. Comment on the link below. Number one is, what was the biggest benefit that you've gotten from this topic in this TV show? Maximize Ridwanullah show. And what touched you the most, basically, and leave it on the comment below. I would love to hear from you. And your engagement, wallahi, really means a lot to me and to this show and to our audience. So always engage at a high level, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And the last but not least is, give me some ideas on what you're struggling with, what you need help with, so we can figure out how to develop, seminars, courses, and products and services that will help you elevate your game. Because if I don't know what you need, I don't know what to create, right? And that's what I'm here for. I have a handful of students and clients that I'm working with, somewhat on a sporadic basis, on a continuous basis. And, they tell me what they need. They tell me what they want and why they want it and how I can deliver. So please leave that on the comment below, inshallah. Either send me a private email at maximizedridwanullah@gmail.com. And hopefully, inshallah, sooner or later, I'll have some other contact information. But that is the main email for right now. And just let me know what you think, and what didn't you like about it also. Feel free to leave that. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And if you've liked this video, please press the like button wherever you're watching this content and share it with your family and friends. And do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel or any other channel that you might be able to subscribe to, and press the notification bell. That just lets you know anytime I release a new content, you'll be the first to know. If you just subscribe and leave it at that, you will not be one of the first to know. You'll be able to figure out somehow, someday, if you go to the channel. But if you click on the bell, you'll be the first one to be notified. And I know one of my friends, he told me excitingly, I know I have that bell clicked, and I'll be one of the first people to be notified. And jazakallahu khair. Wallahi, surprisingly, I know to some people this number might seem very, very small, but to me it's very, very, very big. I have about 70 some odd subscribers right now on the YouTube channel. That is 70 different individuals that have clicked the subscribe button across the globe, in North America, South America. I know there's some people in the Middle East, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and I know some people are watching in Pakistan, UAE, Somalia, Africa, right? Somalia, Kenya, in the United States. I know some individuals are in California. I've seen individuals that have come in from Minnesota, Washington State, Arizona, Los Angeles, California, San Diego, Wisconsin, the East Coast. I've seen a couple of people tune in from Washington, D.C. Even though this channel seems very, very small, it has a large outreach. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And I'm forever grateful and thankful. So hopefully we can grow and expand as a family, as an ummah, as maximizers of Ridwanullah. And that is where I will sign off. Jazakumullahu khair for tuning in to this episode. Until next time, work on maximizing the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every single area of your life until the moment that we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Today I am pleased with you, and thereafter shall never be displeased with you." Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.